We're paying the big money for.
We are on the socials. Everybody behave.
Okay.
I've only got one thing to say to you. Ed is in the waiting room. Want me to bring him in or want to wait?
I mean, we're not going to bring him on so after we do our intro and stuff. So we can give him a couple minutes.
Cool your jets. I'll tell him to cool his jets.
The following show has paid WGCH a broadcasting fee, and the opinions expressed during the show are not necessarily those of the staff, management, or ownership of WGCH Radio.
Greetings, friends. How are you? Welcome to the Clubhouse, 1490 AM, 105.5 FM, WGCH.com. It is April. We have not done a show in April by my count. Welcome aboard. I'm Rob Adams with my partner of all these many years on the Clubhouse, Mr. Mark Jeffers.
Hello, Mr. Adams. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
It was a lovely day here in the Northeast.
Very, very nice.
So the big news in the Jeffers household, I know this is really big news.
Go ahead.
I have a basketball rim. We put a new string on it. And I actually put some air in the basketball.
Oh, wow.
That's it for now. That's all the sports update I have, because if I actually shot the ball, it would be athletic. But I'm not quite there yet.
This is huge news.
I know. This is
huge.
It's cutting edge.
I agree with that.
I think we need to bring David in on this and Bob quickly, because they're laughing in our Zoom call, though it's, again, a radio show. So, yeah, Dave, I'm a hoopster.
This I have to see. This I would pay to see.
Oh, there you go. There will be a pay-per-view coming up your way soon. But we have a great show lined up tonight, Rob. I'm telling you, it's, again, producers.
Producers.
A great job. But we have Ed Manetta, who's going to talk to us about sports, a colleague, a friend. He's got some stuff about venues in the New York City area, and he's a great guy. He's going to lead us off. And then somebody you guys may have heard of.
Who?
Let me think. He was a host. It was the originator of the show. Brian Crowell. That's his name.
Brian Crowell. I've heard that name. No, that's Jim Nantz. Never mind.
Well, there you go. So Brian just flew in from Augusta, so his arms are exhausted because he was down there doing some. I know Bob Small hates those bad jokes, but he just literally flew back in from Augusta. He's going to tell us about the Masters, about his career, and catch up with us because obviously we love Brian, and we'll talk to him at the 7:30 section of the show.
Sounds good.
There you go. So David, what's new and exciting at Manhattanville?
Well, I'm going to tell you a different story. Last week, I told you about Dan Fiorito, who did not come into the program. But, we have so many wonderful guest speakers, whether it's in panels or events that we've done, or even in the classroom, Mark, and you know this. And this is because of people like you and people like Mike Schreck, who bring these great people to us. And next week, we have, Mike told me today, in his class, and we're going to open this up to anybody who wants to attend. So if you're interested in this, esports is becoming a very big thing, right? So next week in his class, which we will open to anybody who wants to join, he has a gentleman by the name of Paul Foster, who's the CEO of Global Esports, and another gentleman by the name of Chris Overholt, who is president and CEO of Overactive Media. This guy was the former CEO of the Canadian Olympic Committee. Wow. So these are two, heavy hitters in the industry, and in a really interesting space in esports, which is, we have one of our alumni, which is another subject, is the head of esports for the ECAC, which is kind of neat.
It is, I don't understand it because I'm 90 years old, but it is the fastest growing sport, I think. Right, Dave? That's hot.
Yeah, when you're talking, and we're basically talking gaming and people competing through gaming for big money and big crowds before COVID, the people that were filling Madison. Listen, it's not what you or I or Rob or Bob do, right? But you have to respect when anything is a big business, especially in the sports industry. You have to respect that, pay attention to it, and understand why it's a big business, and that's what we do.
There you go. I understand. Rumor has it that in our waiting room, as our first guest of the evening, I think we should allow him onto the, get him out of the green room and all that. You know, we have all that food and all the booze and stuff.
Yes,
Where
well,
the
he's
green
probably
room is where we
drunk by
stash
now.
a lot of stuff.
All of our
Surprise,
clubhouse
surprise.
swag.
Yeah, all that swag's coming
Oh,
in.
swag, yes.
So,
Yeah.
Hello.
there he is. So,
There he is.
Ed, I wrote this intro all night last night. I didn't sleep at all, so I had to let me the proper introduction. Ed Manetta. As managing director of sports and entertainment at Fastlane, he is a veteran sports and media strategist and practitioner with a diverse skill set in media, television deals, structures, and negotiations. He is also a colleague and a good friend. It is with great pleasure that I introduce Mr. Ed Manetta. Welcome to the Clubhouse, Ed.
Thank you. Thank you. I love it. I love it. Thank you for the introduction, my friend. Appreciate it.
$5.95 plus
David.
tax, and then you're good to go.
Okay.
It's the first time I've seen Ed embarrassed.
There you go. So Ed, before I ask you what's going on, I want to first of all, how's the family? Everybody's okay in these crazy times?
Yes, yes. Knock on wood. Yes, everyone is healthy, safe, and families are well, and colleagues at work are well, and the students that I'm teaching seem to all be okay. You know, you lose one or two here and there, but you know, they're bouncing back. So I'm actually teaching in person, which is great. So it's nice.
Oh, that's very cool. All right, before we learn more about some of the projects you're involved in, and I wanted to get this because I know I wanted your thoughts on the New York pro sports landscape. Right now, if we look at the Knicks, the Nets, the Rangers, the Islanders, Devils, Giants, Jets, Mets, Yankees, everybody in the New York market seems to be doing okay. I just wanted some of your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it's New York sports has rebounded quite well. You know, I thought last year we all had a rough year. The two football teams can do anything this year. I think it'll definitely, you know, continue to generate the interest. I think the Knicks and the Nets are a great story. You know, the Nets a little bit, you know, they were expected to be where they are. The Knicks are over 500, which I think is huge.
Woo!
Yes, even though I'm a Nets fan, I do root for the Knicks. But, you know, the Yankees are struggling a little bit, but, you know, they're going to win 100 games. And, of course, as Dave knows, I'm a huge Met fan. So I'm excited about what they're doing. So, and of course, and then, you know, and the Islanders are right there, you know, and the Rangers too. So
Thank you.
it's gonna, you know, that's another, you know, I think New York sports is really, you know, having a great year right now, and I just hope it keeps up. And, you know, as I said, if the football teams do what they're supposed to do and get better, then New York fans can again hold their heads high.
Yeah. After a long while of having them between their legs.
Yes. With one team, the Yankees, about it, right?
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, David, since you brought it up, we might as well. I want to, you know, the controversy. Maybe Ed will be able to. The Jets. One day I hear it's one guy in the draft for number 2, and the next day I hear another guy. So, Ed, what are your thoughts? Who are the Jets going to take?
I think they're going to take Zach Wilson. I mean, that's their plan, and I don't think they're going to veer from that plan. You know, they've got cap space, they've got draft choices. I thought the Giants did a great job off season. Now that's gotta translate into wins. I mean, I think you know, you can only rebuild so long, and you know, the good thing about the New York sports fan, I don't care what anybody tells you, and I've lived in Chicago. The New York sports fans are very smart. They're educated, they're passionate, and you know, if they weren't passionate, they always say when they stop talking about you is when you got to worry. And
Exactly.
no one, if you listen to radio shows, nobody stops talking about, especially our football teams, ever. So yeah, I think the Jets, you know, if they draft the right way, it all begins at the top. You know, we've said that for years about the Mets. I mean, it all begins at the top. You have the right people in place in any organization, you're going to be successful.
That's true. You know, that's interesting, because you have a background that includes, you know, Barclays Arena, and it's something that I think I know it drives me nuts, Rob, probably you too, in terms of, you know, you say the New York sports fan is intelligent, and I think for the most part they are. And that's why I'm a little insulted when I go to an arena or a stadium and they're telling me when to cheer, how to cheer. It's like, you know, they don't tell you to boo, but
No.
But Ed, why don't you tell us a little bit what's going on with some of those venues?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're blessed to be working with the UBS arena, the new arena at Belmont Park, which looking at the pictures today and the final illustrations is going to be a magnificent venue. Plenty of parking spots, and of course located, on that beautiful campus of Belmont Park. Easy access, plus the railroad stop. And it will be the home of the Islanders. And believe it or not, I think they've already reached their limit on selling out for season tickets. So they're starting to put a waiting list together for that. Obviously, they'll put the concerts are right there, and they'll have a prominent place as well as all the family shows. Yes, so you'll see Disney on Ice and everything else. And my area of responsibility is really everything sports that's not part of the Islanders. So college basketball. I like that, Dave. Very nice. The Islander background. College basketball, college hockey, pre-Olympic events, high school events. So we are going all out to be aggressive in scheduling, and there'll be a lot of one-off games. Maybe some MAC doubleheaders, some A10, Big East. So we are aggressively pursuing all of the conferences. We'll be looking at some postseason opportunities, not only with conferences, but with the NCAA as far as bidding, both on the basketball side, women's basketball, and the hockey side. So we're excited about that. We want to make sure that college hockey has a prominent place here as well, because of such a fervent fan base that you have on the island for the Islanders. We think that will transcend over to the college side, and we're looking at some dynamic matchups. And so we're excited. Hopefully I come back in another month or so and give you kind of a lineup of who will be playing, but there'll be some of the local favorites will be playing some games at the new arena. So we're really excited about that.
Oh, I think that's very cool. As long as you get Syracuse somehow involved there, Ed. I went to Syracuse. Somehow we get the.
We are. Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm being serious. Yeah, we will try to get some of the former Big East schools.
Very good.
Presently ACC schools. I hate saying that, but having worked with the ACC and so friends down there, yes, you can be sure that we will be pursuing some of those great traditional games that entertained us in the past. And
what is the rough timetable for all of this?
Everything. The building will open this December of 2021. So yes, we're very excited about it. And as I said, there'll be some illustrations that'll be coming out, and we're going to be doing some tours coming up in the early part of the summer. So it's just a wonderful new venue to the populace of New York and all the other venues that are here.
All right, I have a teaching question. Unless anybody else has a sports, Rob, do you want to jump in? You're good with.
Well, my interest is more about the new arena, because I just think it's so fantastic that, it's been a while since we've had a building that exciting to come into the tri-state area. And I'm looking forward, and I'm sure we don't know them all yet, but what are the bells and whistles and the things that are going to make this building special, Ed?
Yeah, I think one of the first things always you hear about parking. So that's the good news. It's going to have plenty of parking. It will be, near hotels, so, and restaurants in that area. And there's going to be new developments along that as well as retail. So there'll be a lot of the ancillary beneficiaries of this, which is always going to be fun and nice and help the economy. And, I think it's the way it's designed. I think people are going to really be impressed with. And, all of us in sports know that even though we're passionate, we love it. It's our life. It's how we feed our families. The concert business is still the one, is that, as they say in college sports about college football, the concert business is the engine that drives the train. And they are going to be talking about bells and whistles. There are going to be some, tech things that'll be in there that are just going to blow people away. And the layout of the building is going to be just unbelievable. So, that's always part of the charm. I remember when Barclays Center opened, and Early on when I got there, it was, and it still is. Believe me, it is.
Sure.
One of the most magnificent buildings in the country. And that's what's great about New York. Talking about sports fans, right? We've got the Garden, Barclays Center, now the UBS Arena. So, we've got some great complexes here in New York. And, I'm sure there's plenty to go around and the fans are going to love it. And you're right, Rob. It's going to be, I cannot wait till it opens.
Yeah.
Ed, you're burying the lead, as they say. Here's what I would have led with. There's something because I watch a lot of Islander games and see these UBS updates and the pictures. I think there's something like 19 bars in the arena. And no, listen, and from some of these bars, you can sit and watch the game because it's like a
Absolutely.
wide open, like space. So, that's what I would have led with, but that's me.
Well, no, but also, Dave, that means the clubhouse can be there
I
live.
was just going to say that.
See, Ed, we all
There it
agree to
is.
the point.
That's where you got it. That's where we should do. We should get an Islander game, do it for one of the 19 bars that we'll try to all visit that night and do our show from there. That's what I call
That's it.
There we go.
I'm in.
And being Bob's in Connecticut, making sure that we're all happy. All right. I want to just turn for a second. You do such a great job in teaching as a professor. And what made you want to give back and enjoy teaching so much? Because I think it's a cool thing. And Dave will speak to this as well. But just, I know you enjoy teaching. So, or to sort of turn a little bit of a page, but tell our audience a little bit about your thoughts on teaching.
Well, you're right. It's a passion. My father was a professor at St. John's for 30 plus years. So I probably inherited a little bit of that. And when I was at Edelman in Chicago, I started teaching at DePaul. And then when I came back to St. John's as AD, I started teaching, and I've been teaching there 25 years, 20, whatever plus years, as well as at Manhattanville and several other institutions. And you know what? I think I felt like almost like an obligation a little bit that I wanted to give, and we all of us talk about this every day. There's the academician side, and they're great in what they do. And believe me, I love professors and respect them and everything else. But the adjuncts and all of us that come in from the outside world, we can tell them real life stories. We can tell them some of the mistakes we made when early on, and some of the great experiences we've had and people we've worked with. And, everything learning that you're continuing to learn, even as a veteran at my age, who continue to learn things, and you really want to give them that. So yes, you take them through, the basics and the academics, but it's those real life stories. And what I'm most proud of and what I love to see is I see all my students working. They're out. I run into them at the Mets, the Islanders. I was over at the Jets before the COVID hit and ran into two of my students and, former students. And, that's what I love is to see where they're all going and the success they've had. And it's amazing. It really is. That's what kind of gets you going. And they'll often refer to you or say, hey, I really learned this in a class. And, unfortunately, the mine's the first to go. So sometimes I do forget who you've had over 20 years. And they'll always remind me, I had you back in 1998, 2002, whatever it might be. And now I'm here. And it really is amazing. And I think it's, people like Dave, who've done a fantastic job at Manhattanville in starting the program and carrying that through. And I do, I've at St. John's, it gets its respect. And I do think, though, sometimes, we don't get the respect, and all those people in sports and all the people who are going to be tomorrow's leaders in sports, whether it's on the agency side, John Shea at Octagon is a St. John's sports administration, management graduate.
New head. Yep.
So all these people that are going to be tomorrow's leaders, and so I do think, sometimes I think more and more because of the graduate programs like Dave's got, that is helping really to build the portfolio and let people know, hey, these people are very talented. And as I tell my class every day, I go, every profession is in sports, right? Accounting, legal, marketing, medical, any business that you find outside in the real world is part of the sports family. It's part of the vernacular of sports. So you could have the skill set in this area, and it's great. I think the legal people I used to work with at Barclays Center, or we talked all the time, and now with the UBS Arena, there's some. I'm working every day with the programming people and the and people that I've worked with in the past. That these people have come out of these programs. Really is a tribute to the profession. And if you look around the country, way back when there was maybe 4 or 5 schools. Now everybody has some form of a sports management program.
No, it's true. All right, so Ed, and we're friends in a long time, but so I'm looking at Fastlane because I have to do my homework, right? And managing director, great job, and all the stuff you're doing with all the venues and stuff. But when they do the bio, it's a caricature of you. I love that. I wanted to hear. I think it's what? You're looking good, man.
Takes the years off. That's what counts. Takes those years off of me. No, I've been there now for over a year, and they had worked with me when I was at Barclays Center and Google, and so it's a great organization. And just over the summer, purchased by a holding company that has 22 businesses, including retail companies, real estate, 2 minor league baseball teams, other entertainment companies. So it's a great association to be part of, and obviously we've been able to do some acquisitions and some things like that, and just exciting times, and working with Dave and his group, and there's just a lot of opportunities. So the future is extremely bright. Of course, knock on wood, coming out of the COVID situation, I think everybody is just regaling that hopefully the vaccines all work, everybody's there, and then somehow we're back to some type of normalcy, by the fall, late fall, early winter, etc. When the arena opens, I hope everything is kind of back to where it was. But there'll be some protocols, some precautions, like everything else you got to do. And but the good news is, you think about the lives we've lived, we've seen it all. I mean, I tell our students, the Super Bowl was on a Sunday afternoon, the 3rd or 2nd week in January, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The halftime shows were the Disney people coming out and singing. And now you've got a $10 billion TV deal and $1 billion in sponsor. And they don't even, they can't even comprehend what.
How about the NBA? How about the NBA finals being on tape delay?
On CBS, I tell them that they can't buy that either. They look at you and they go, "You're making this up, right?" You're absolutely right, Dave. It's or there was no football until Roone Arledge got together with the ABC, and there we go. And that was Monday football that changed some primetime sports. So crazy.
Yep,
that's great. Well, Ed, I can't thank you enough for joining us on the Clubhouse tonight.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank
Is there any website or Twitter, any account that any of our audience might want to, if they need to reach out to
you can just, add it Fastlane and, add it fastlane.co, and I can answer questions, whatever you want. And I'm serious about, though, we are going to do this show. We got to do it seriously from the new arena. I think that would be great.
Love it.
Stitch.
I love that.
Thank you for joining us on the Clubhouse, and we will take you up on that offer.
Okay, brother. All right.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you very much. This was an honor to be on the show. Seriously. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Take
Stay
care.
well, bud.
All right. Take care, Dave. Talk soon.
Well, Rob, should we take a break?
I think that sounds like a great idea. We will do so. A break it is. We'll come back with more Brian Crowell and a Clubhouse report still to come tonight as we continue on the Clubhouse, 1490 AM, 105.5 FM, and WGCH.com.
Greg met his mother at their weekly dinner spot.
I'll be back.
Bob, did Kroll call in?
No, not yet.
He probably lost the number. I'm just kidding.
He always had it written down. He never memorized it.
I asked him, I called him because I said, "Do you remember the number?" He goes, "No." spouse personal home number. I said, okay. Oh, by the way, I have our passes for car washes. I'll either give them to you in person or I can mail them to you.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Well, I would like to
Clean
think
car.
get them in person.
I know.
We welcome you back to the Clubhouse for this Wednesday, April 14th, as we roll along. Rob Adams, Mark Jeffers, Dave Torromeo, Bob Small, Ed Manetta, great spot with him, and Brian Crowell still to come. And Dave, I have to tell you now, our listeners can't see it. We have not mastered putting the show on Facebook Live for the Zoom chat, but you keep disappearing into Long Island occasionally with your background. It's cracking me up. Part of Long Island is just eating Dave Torromeo. It's hysterical.
Yeah, that's the fork, right? Yeah, okay.
Probably,
yeah.
you know what, Rob, it's probably better than Dave eating Long Island, though, I suppose.
I suppose.
Well, it's been known to happen.
I know. All right.
The whole time Dave, Ed was talking, it was cracking me up as I watched Dave. But anyway, go on, Mark.
Bob and weave.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of messes,
Messes.
spring is here, and your car finish needs help. Splash Car Wash to the rescue. They have wash and detail services designed to remove the harmful salt, sand, and dirt from your car and get it looking great again. Their detail services can help restore that faded finish or clean out the inside of your car. And here's one better. Splash Unlimited Club. Wash your car as much as you want for one low monthly price. This is perfect for spring and the pollen season where your car will be continually coated in green. And yes, indeed, my red car is now green. The Unlimited Club lets you wash when you want and save money. That's unlimited washing at the best car wash around, Splash, located at 570 North Bedford Road in Bedford Hills.
Wow. That Syracuse education has really done you some good.
You know what? And they're very good. We're gonna test that car wash out.
Oh, yeah.
Where that pollen come
Yeah.
up soon, and we're all
Love those
first.
guys.
They're great.
They are. They do a great job.
Yeah, so we're waiting for Mr. Crowell. Let's touch base. Rob, what's new and exciting in doubleheader these days? Everything is good?
Yeah, everything is good. We've been kind of fighting to find time to get on the air. The Red Sox kind of took some of our time today, which, they had a game, so they were busy. I just saw our good friends at the Renegades have just finished up a meeting a little while ago. They did a Facebook live chat about ticket policies and how everyone's going to get into the building with COVID and all of that, with COVID protocols. They've got a very good setup. They're ready to entertain and hopefully upwards of 1,200 people to start, which doesn't sound like a lot, but
No,
for
it's
a
good.
small ballpark, it's a good number.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good number. So I
We're
still
coming,
don't
man. We're coming.
We
I
are
still don't
coming.
even know where I'm broadcasting from, to be honest with you. I'm not sure we've worked that out yet. And I'm one of the last things they need to worry about. Believe me, I'll just show up and talk from a seat if I have to.
Well, there is a prison right across the road.
There is. Yes, there is. I had a cousin that worked there for a long time. So, yeah. No, I know that.
Things are tough. We'll be in the clubhouse live from there versus.
Little set of binoculars and
Exactly.
That's exactly right. So, so that's where kind of things are around these parts.
Nice.
And we should
we
have
have-
you on Friday night or Friday afternoon. I mean, we're planning to, right? I don't think anything's going to get in the way.
No, Friday should be fine for doubleheader.
Yep.
Unless my other world gets in the way, we should be fine. But my
Right.
goal is to be on.
So all right. So with the Yankees, and we'll talk about that in the clubhouse report because what do you think? Like, are the Yankees the farm? I'm talking about our single A up in Hudson Valley.
Yes.
So will there be like rehab like they had in the old days? That'd be kind of cool.
That's possible. I haven't heard anything about that yet. Now, keep in mind they've got Double A nearby in Somerset, New Jersey, as well with the Patriots. I don't know if they'll rehab the players because that's the closest building to the stadium. It's slightly closer than Hudson Valley. Hudson Valley's 60 miles. Fishkill Wappingers Falls is 60 miles. But I do know when the Mets rehabbed Carlos Beltran,
I remember.
Yep. I called that game. So it's been fun. I've been kind of talking to the older broadcasters, the guys who had the job before me, and they've been sending me some audio. So that's one of the things that I got sent was the Carlos Beltran at bat at Dutchess Stadium.
Well, I think the great thing about the Renegades and that organization is, and it's nice when you get a player to come down to rehab like that, but they stand alone as an excellent product. And they do such an amazing job with their game promotions. The fans come to see the games. I mean, we've been there a couple of times, right, Mark? I mean, it's a wonderful atmosphere up there.
Yeah. They do a great job. And, people just need to have a lot of patience this year because they haven't even set the promotional schedule, and there will be one. But normally it's, it's all promoted by now and ready to go. There's a lot of moving parts still with everything going on.
Once they get going, Rob, how many games a week do you anticipate will be played?
They are going to play in 6-game stretches against one team. It used to be, kind of 2s and 3s, maybe 4s. These are going to be 6 games at a time against one team. And you could see the Renegades at home for 2 weeks at a time. They could be on the road for 2 weeks at a time. Or they could be home for a week at a time. They're not playing any Monday nights. So there'll be, like I said, a lot of moving parts, 120 games total, 60 in the ballpark up in Wappingers Falls.
Well, the point is that the games are being played. I mean, that's happening in all areas. Like the Rangers, I think, are playing the Devils 4 straight times in hockey, right? So it's a means to an end, and I think it's smart. And we get through this year with this crap, for lack of a better word, and then we move forward.
I agree, and I'll just make this quick point, and then we'll move on. I agree with you. We should be grateful to have what we have right now. Let's not worry about the runners on second base and 7-inning double. Worry about that in 22. Right now, we're playing. That's a good thing. Mark, back to you.
Guess what? I understand from Bob Small that we have Mr. Brian Crowell, the director of golf at Trump Golf Links at Ferry Point, host of On Course Radio Show on Sirius XM Radio, an author, a dear friend, and the founder of the Clubhouse. Welcome back to your show, Brian Crowell.
Oh, man, what a treat this is. Thank you, Mark. That was a beautiful intro. Beautiful.
I spent all night writing it, Crowell, and you know what? All those edits you gave me earlier, I think they worked well.
I'm looking around in my car for Kleenex. I mean, that was just too much.
All right, don't drive any dead spots. We need you on the air for the next few minutes. So I was telling the boys in our intro, Brian. You just flew back from the Masters, and Bob Small liked it, and your arms are still tired, but he didn't like that joke so much.
Just beat me to it. That's all.
Tell us what was going on. You did a great job on Masters on the Range. Tell us a little bit of what's going on down there. That was great.
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly in the world of golf, and I think in the world of sport, the Masters is a very special week. And that's the one thing I do want to point out. It's more than just the Masters tournament. It was the Augusta National Women's Amateur. It was the drive, chip, and putt for the kids, the finals at the Augusta National Clubhouse, the Champions Dinner, and the honorary starters. And then you have this fantastic 4 rounds, this tournament that is, as my good friend Jim Nance says, unlike any other. And I just think it was a fantastic success, and it was a real thrill to be a part of it.
All right, I have to answer this question, and then we're going to go back. We have to do a little Clubhouse memories in a moment, but I want to get back. I want to stay in the Masters thing for a second. And I watched because I'm probably next to Wendy and your family. I may be your biggest fan, even though don't tell anybody out loud there. So you're interviewing the guys on the range, and you had the mask on, which is protocol is important. But Dave and I talked about this. Was it difficult? I mean, they were mic'd. Was it difficult doing interviews with the mask on and the whole way? Were you uncomfortable?
Yeah, you know what? I think society in general has realized that you don't realize how much you look for expressions and just show recognition, and you can't necessarily tell as easily these days about what someone's trying to get across. There's a lot that you're missing with these masks, and it's unfortunate. And like you guys were saying, it's kind of the times we're in right now, but it does make it difficult. And I didn't realize, I mean, Mark, you may know this about me, but I don't have 100% hearing. And it's surprising how much I rely on seeing lips move to understand what people are saying. So I've got, it is difficult to communicate, and it's really hard when you're in the position of being an interviewer for a network television gig. It's a challenge, and you have to be really careful. You have to hold the mic a little bit closer. You have to try and nod and use the rest of your face as much as you can to get your points across, but it's difficult.
Wow.
That's very interesting, Brian. Hey, it's Dave here, and welcome. And as Mark knows, you're a member of our advisory board for the Manetta program, so always great to talk to you. But it's funny because I said to my wife, I said, it's got to be driving him nuts to have that mask on doing these interviews. And as George Costanza said, I say this with a record of staunch heterosexuality. You're a good-looking man. You should be seen.
Thank you.
Nice. This is why the Clubhouse can never have Brian on the show.
As opposed to,
oh man. Well, listen, it's nice. I didn't know Dave was there. It's nice to have Torromeo in on all of this. And yes, I am a proud member of the advisory board at your fine institution. So anyway, it's, when you're talking about sports marketing and broadcasting and interviewing and trying to do a great job, it's challenging when you have to put that extra layer between you and the microphone and between you and your subject. And you have to think about your questions and make them a little cleaner, a little shorter. And it's tricky. It really is.
Brian, it's Rob. As always, I'm just keeping your seat warm, but in all seriousness, how do you kind of assess this year's tournament? How will history treat this year's tournament?
Oh man, I think when you look back on it, it had all the makings of one of the most exciting finishes you could ask for, albeit I think the biggest global success in a long time. I mean, I just think the Matsuyama story, when you think about this, he was the recipient of an exemption for winning the Asian Pacific Amateur 10 years ago.
Yep.
So the Masters tournament, I think, is prescient. I think they're forward thinking. I think they see the future. And they grant these global exemptions to great amateur players. And here is the perfect example of why that is such a huge success. It involves the entire world. A former recipient of this exemption then comes back to win the tournament as a professional. They reach out, like I said earlier, to the ladies for the women's amateur and to the kids for the drive, chip, and putt. It's just incredible what the Masters does. And I think this year obviously will be a year where Matsuyama is a king. He won this for an entire country, and it was a huge success.
Yeah, $1 billion. They're saying $1 billion in sponsorship for him, in terms of what he's going to be worth. So anytime you want to make that intro for us, we'll be here.
I'll tell you, it was exciting. I do say this. I'm sure Xander Schauffele is kicking himself.
Oh boy!
You look back, and there is that mysterious Amen Corner and Rays Creek and all the wind and the breezes that sort of play.
I was going to say that I felt the course was almost as big a star as any of the players. It was beating everybody up. It was amazing.
Yeah, I think Bob, this year, they reminded us that Augusta still has teeth, and you got to respect it. And the conditions changed a lot throughout the week. You saw that rain stop the play there on Saturday, and Matsuyama, when he came back, he went crazy with the more receptive greens and really made up the most ground of any player. But yeah, the golf course always shines. It's a star this year, perhaps more than ever. But it was fun. It was another great week.
All right, we're gonna switch gears for a second, Mr. Crowell. What's new and exciting on your? Because you have so many hats. I mean, you have the books. I know you're thinking about writing the Jeffers biography, which we'll talk about later. But before then, what's new in the radio show? Give us an update on course. Having fun still?
I'm still loving it. My co-host, I call him a wannabe Jeffers, Frank Darby.
Oh yeah, we love Frank Darby. I was gonna have him, put him next to you in the car on the way home tonight, but you'll tell Frank we said hello.
I definitely will. So Frank and I think we're going into our sixth, maybe seventh year. I think it's sixth though, but Frank and I do a show on Thursday nights now from 8 to 9. And of course, 8 o'clock here is drive time on the West Coast. That's what we tell everybody. So it's been a lot of fun. The name of the show is On Course, and we just try and tell a lot of great stories. It's a lot like the Clubhouse. It's just us having fun talking about golf. And we go out of our way to try and find the power of golf and, the positive things that golf can do. And I think that's been a lot of fun.
All right. So here's my other question. And this is because, Crowell, you've been in my house, and I have some problems in the golf game, as you know.
Yeah.
But our audience are sports fans. And actually, we have Bob, Rob, and Dave, who are all better golfers than me. But as a teaching pro, and, you're one of the best in the country, we're in the E today was a beautiful day, but what would you tell a regular golfer as they get ready to head out to their course, whether it's a public or a private, what kind of practice should they be doing now to get ready to actually face those 18 holes?
Well, I think, listen, this is a year where we want to be better than last year. And you guys were talking a lot about the pandemic, and one of the sports that has kind of offered a great escape has been golf. And I think golf has provided a silver lining for a lot of people who were searching for a way to get some fresh air and still have competition. So I would just say, number one, be thankful for golf and appreciate your time out there. But I think this could be a year where you really focus on contact. I mean, everybody gets so worried about back swings and everything else. I would say, man, start small. Try and hit half shots. Go to the range and just see if you can find the middle of the face. And Jeffers, one of my favorite little drills, you'll like this, is you take a can of Dr. Scholl's foot powder spray. You can get it at CVS, and you spray that on your club face. And then when you're hitting a golf ball, you can see exactly where the golf ball hit the face of your irons or your woods, and you can sort of track where contact is. And it's a cool way to see how close to the center you're getting. And I think it'd be fun for your listeners to try a little bit of that when they're getting ready for their season.
Love that.
I love that. Brian, you should write a book on that alone. That's a good topic. I have a couple. Well, all right, before we go to that, I have a surprise at the Clubhouse. But before we go to that, who are some of the golfers? You were down there in Augusta, you've seen all the best. Who are some of the golfers we should be looking at this season, or that Dave can bet on? Any names you come to mind?
Yeah. Listen, I think Schauffele is going to continue to be a guy to put some money on. I mean, I think this is just going to drive him to become stronger and stronger. And I think he has that taste in his mouth right now where he's going to be all out. So you would not go wrong betting on Xander Schauffele. I think when the year starts to unfold, you're going to see a little action from this kid named Robert McIntyre. And he might be a good dark horse, a nice long shot bet for the people that are into wagering with moderation. So Robert McIntyre is a left-handed Scotsman. I think he's ranked about 40th in the official world golf rankings, but he's on the move. I would keep an eye out for that guy too.
All right, so I'm gonna let you go because I know you're probably gonna head into a dead zone soon. But before I let you go, I was, cleaning the house, Brian, in preparation for the show that you were kind enough to join us on, and I found in my archives the Clubhouse shows /1 and /2 that you recorded for me and yourself, and the dates were 4/8/03 for /1 and tomorrow 4/15/03. 18 years ago tomorrow was show /2 of the Clubhouse.
That is incredible. I mean,
isn't that incredible? I have that, so I'm gonna give Wendy. She could sell it on eBay, and we'll make lots of money. But it's been such a long time, and you were the inventor of the show. Just tell our audience, what were your first thoughts way back then of the Clubhouse?
Well, listen, I got to give you a lot of credit too, because you helped to shape this show and push me on, and you and I had a lot of great years together. I just really enjoyed it because it was mostly about having fun and trying to be entertaining and tell stories and have a great time. And that's what I think the Clubhouse has done for 18 years. And I think you guys have done a magical job of continuing that. And I couldn't be happier. It's like seeing your car sold to someone that is going to appreciate it. And man, my wheels are in very good hands. And by the way, those tapes, Jeffers, that's like finding the Dead Sea Scrolls.
I know. I'm holding on to them.
They've got to be digitized. We've got to get that converted.
I know. Brian Crowell, thank you so much. Where can our audience learn more about the radio show or more about Brian Crowell?
Well, listen to Sirius XM, Sirius 208, XM 92 on Thursday nights from 8 to 9. And if you can, come to Trump Golf Links at Ferry Point and play some golf. And I'd be happy to see you and all of your listeners. And guys, I can't thank you enough it's just so cool to be back on the show with you. And we got to do it again.
Absolutely. Best of the family, Brian.
Best of yours. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, let's take a quick break and we'll come back with the Clubhouse report.
Got to give a minute for the band to get in here. We're back after this. 1490 1055 WGCH.com.
Sue and her wife Helen meet their.
That was good. Really good.
It was good. We'll keep him around.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
See, Dave, we're lining it up for when you want to do the reminiscence show. We can do a whole hour on it.
Oh, he's amazing. He's not the only one who needs the Kleenex.
Yeah.
Yeah, just thinking about back when you invited me on to visit with you guys, and I was like calling in, and finally made my way to Grand Prix, New York, and that was,
It's not such a bad show, right, Bob Small? Tell us.
What, me? Oh, we're back.
We're just talking off the air how we have to do kind of memories of the Clubhouse for all of us, but I guess that's for another time because the band is here and they want to play. So, Mark, I think I got to let Bob strike them up. Dun, 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 dun.
The Clubhouse Report with your host, Mark Jeffers.
Well, and I want to thank Rob, Brian, and welcome to the Clubhouse Report. Woo. After a sparkling third round 65, Hideki Matsuyama walked off the 18th green at Augusta National after shooting a 10 under par total to win the Masters on Sunday, becoming the first Japanese man to win a major golf title. And we were talking with Brian earlier. It's unbelievable. That is such a great honor. And I understand that he will be lighting the Olympic torch come the Summer Olympics.
That should, absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Deservedly so. Deservedly so. Played great after the rain delay, as Brian highlighted, and Schauffele gave us a brief moment where I thought, oh, here we go. And then all of a sudden, Schauffele found the drink on 16, and yeah, it all fell apart.
What about that other young man that almost caught Matsuyama?
The kid from California.
Yeah, he was good. He was.
Yeah, very good.
And he'll be around for a while. He's 24 years old.
Yeah.
That's the thing about God. When we get these guys like who come in, and you're like, okay, wow, Koepka, he's gonna be Dustin Johnson, he's gonna be the next, and it's like, Dustin Johnson didn't even make the cut, so it's very interesting.
Yep.
All right, in local sandlot action, the New York Mets swept the doubleheader, the 7-inning type, yesterday against the Philadelphia Phillies, 4-3 and 4-zip. The Mets host the Phillies again tonight with a 7:10 first pitch. And the up and down New York Yankees lost their day game today, 5-4 against the Toronto Blue Jays. The Yankees have tomorrow off, thank goodness, before returning to the stadium to face Tampa Bay on Friday night with a 7:05 start. The Mets with a sweep, David. That's good.
I think Rob's got an update for us.
Oh, we got an update.
We do. Second inning at Citi Field. New York Metropolitans 2 and the Philadelphia Phillies 0.
Wow.
It's a long season, guys. And
it's a long season.
We have seen the Yankees
having some fun.
So
Come on, let's go.
Right.
That's right.
Today marks 100 days until the opening ceremonies for the Summer Olympics in Japan. NBC is taking to the great outdoors to anchor its primetime Summer Olympics show. Mike Tirico will set up on the 5th floor studio deck overlooking the Tokyo skyline, which will also be shared for the Today Show broadcast. So I think right now it looks like it's a go from the NBC side of things and the athletic side of things. So just let's hope we can do it in July.
Let's hope so.
Yes, sir.
Let's hope, yeah.
All righty, over on the courts, the surging New York Knicks are on the road tonight to face the New Orleans Pelicans with an 8 o'clock start, and the Brooklyn Nets are in Philly tonight to battle the front-running 76ers with a 7 o'clock tip-off. You know what? The Knicks, as Ed was saying earlier in the show, yes, I think, the Nets are looking strong, but I'm happy with the Knicks being a game over 500.
I have to tell you, I think I would rather watch the Knicks than the Nets, even though the Nets have all these. I'm a Knicks fan, but at the end of the day, the Nets are playing with all the. It's like Kevin Durant's not playing tonight. It's a game for first place, and he's not playing. That's ridiculous.
And the Sixers have a 9-point lead on the Nets with about under 7 to go, first half.
Good.
All right, so we're running out of time, right, Rob? I can add a. Okay. I thought you were giving. See, it's interesting in the Zoom world that we live in. When you went one, that was that you wanted to talk about.
Oh,
so I thought it was 1 minute.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about
and this is why. But on the radio world, we've got lots of time. So let's go to the ice. In NHL action, the New York Rangers shut out the New Jersey Devils last night, 3-zip in Newark, and then host the Devils at the Garden tomorrow night with a 7 o'clock face-off. Dave's Islanders travel to Boston tomorrow night to face the Bruins with a 7 o'clock start. So on a trade deadline, was any major moves that I saw? Rob or Dave, did you guys see anything that was crucial in the NHL moves?
Nothing that stood out to me in terms of the locals. Nothing for the Rangers or Islanders or even the Devils.
Well, the Islanders traded for Kyle Palmieri.
Okay, true.
Got Zajac from the Devils.
That's true. You're right.
And they picked up Coburn. So listen, and it's funny to me that the Rangers will be rooting for the Islanders in the next few games because the Islanders are playing the Bruins, right? But at the end of the day, I don't want to see the Rangers in the playoffs. I hate to say it because they're pretty good. The Rangers are very talented.
And Aaron's a good
By
player.
the way, speaking of birthdays, tomorrow is Tom Laidlaw's birthday.
Hey, happy
okay.
A frequent and wonderful
happy
guest.
birthday, Grasshoppers.
All
right. Over on the racetrack, Martin Truex Jr. won a stirring laps-long duel with his teammate Denny Hamlin in the delayed NASCAR Cup Series race at Martinsville Speedway. Two guys in the same, race. That's interesting. But Martin, I was able to hold off Denny. Did you watch it at all, Bob, at all, or no?
No, I'm sorry, I did not. I didn't catch it.
Okay.
Jeez.
Our friends at Star Boxing, Joe DeGuardia, have a lot to cheer about when Long Island's common man, Joe Smith Jr., cemented his legacy in boxing history by defeating Maxim Lasov and being crowned the new WBO light heavyweight champion of the world. Congratulations to both Joe and to Joe D.
Yeah.
And that will wrap it up for this week's Clubhouse Report. Rob, back to you.
Nice.
Outstanding.
Love a report of soccer. Love it.
Next week. Oh, no, 2 weeks, Dave. I promise I'll have an MLS report for you.
Don't bother.
Yeah, I think they're starting back up again. Don't they take like a week off and then they play?
Yeah, we will have action in 2 weeks for me to report on. I'm not sure how much action, but we'll have action.
We'll have action.
0-0 is not action.
Well, speaking of action, gentlemen, we're back in 2 weeks.
We are. We've got, as I said, we've talked a little bit about the Ron Bloomberg who will be joining us, and a surprise guest.
Oh.
Which is I'm teasing the audience for 2 weeks, but it'll be a surprise guest. And also we need to talk to one of the surprise guests, maybe Jerry Gardner, because he needs to give us a little Yankee update.
This may be the last season we'll get a chance to hear that.
It could be, but we need a little Jerry Mojo to come out and kind of reinvigorate our Bombers.
Absolutely.
I think that always gets them going, right?
It seems to. Seems to. And it'll be the last pre-Renegade show, by the way. Just figure I'd throw that in as well.
Over that shit.
Because all of a sudden, away we go.
Oh, maybe we should I'll call Kristen or one of our friends over at the Renegades. Maybe we should do a little spot next week.
That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. All right, gang, that'll do it for this edition. Really good interviews tonight. I loved hearing Brian, by the way. Just didn't have enough time to really talk more, but great to hear Brian Crowell, and Ed Manetta was outstanding. So, Mark, I'll see you in a couple.
Have a great week, guys. Great
Dave,
2 weeks.
Take care. Bob as well. For Bob Small, Dave Torromeo, Mark Jeffers, I'm Rob Adams saying so long from the clubhouse. We'll see you in a couple of weeks for our next edition right here on 1490, 105.5, and WGCH.com. Good night, everyone.
Okay.
Sorry, Bob.
About what?
Yeah, I heard it.
I dropped the swear in there.
I wasn't sure. So if I wasn't sure, that's our defense.
All right.
So the 7-second machine doesn't work anymore? Is that how that...
Yeah, only if I push the button.
I'm kidding. I don't.
I couldn't tell if I was watching Bob flinch or not. I
thought he reacted. I thought it was like,
well, I wasn't sure. But I thought maybe. Yeah, I said, oh, the heck with it.
Oh well.
Oh well.
Like I was watching a movie the other night on USA Network. All the cursing was going through.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, right? It's amazing what comes through now. So I have to tell you guys before we go, I'm gonna go out here tonight and we're gonna watch we're watching a Netflix series on the it's called it's actually the largest art theft in have you seen this Netflix?
And they haven't found the art pieces either.
Yeah.
Right. It's an amazing. If you get a chance to watch it, you should watch it because it's really amazing.
All right, I gotta watch it then.
Yeah, watch it.
Yeah.
I'll tell Sarah it'll be her birthday present.
Yeah,
I go all out.
Cheap bastard.
Hello. In case you wondered, I can still hear you.